Chapter 97, The Truth is Out There. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Jiang Yuochen put a saint stone pill into Jiang Shashu's mouth to heal the wounds, and then carried him on his back to Dragon Marshal Temple. Juan Singeling followed Jiang Yuochen with her hands behind her back. Her breasts were high and round. She stared at Jiang Shashu with a look of disdain and furrowed brows. "Is he really your brother, Jiang Yuochen? I don't see a prince in him." Jiang Yuochen had met the 8th prince, the 6th prince, the 5th prince and the 3rd prince, but he never felt any kinship with them. Although Jiang Shashu was not as handsome as the other princes, he had stepped forward to help when Jiang Yuochen was in the greatest danger and at the time of his most need. That action alone was worth Jiang Yuochen's respect. Juan Singeling continued, "Jiang Yuochen, you won't carry that fat guy to Dragon Marshal Temple, will you?" Jiang Yuochen said, "He is seriously injured. Can't I take him back to recuperate?" Juan Singeling blocked Jiang Yuochen at once, with arms akimbo, saying, No man is allowed in Dragon Marshal Temple." Jiang Yuochen asked, "Who says that?" "It's Western Campus's rule." Juan Singeling twisted her face, seeming arrogant. Jiang Yuochen ignored her entirely and walked past her to enter the door of Dragon Marshal Temple. "I can enter Dragon Marshal Temple. So can my 4th brother." Juan Singeling followed up and said, "Your talent was the only reason that we didn't go tough on you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have left Dragon Marshal Temple in one piece last night." Jiang Yuochen acted like he didn't hear Juan Singeling at all, and walked directly to yellow number 1. Suddenly, Jiang Yuochen stopped. He let out a light sound in surprise. "That's odd. It should be yellow number 1, but now it's earth number 1. How could it be?" The horizontal inscribed board of the side hall clearly read earth number 1. Jiang Yuochen had a good memory so that he knew that he didn't take the wrong way. Then, there was only one explanation. Someone had changed the horizontal inscribed board of the side hall. Who was so bored that they would change yellow number 1 to earth number 1? Jiang Yuochen took out the bronze key and inserted it into the keyhole, only to find out that it didn't open. Apparently, someone had also changed the lock. Juan Singeling seemed uneasy. She blinked and said in a low voice, "You took the wrong way, Jiang Yuochen. This is earth number 1 where Sister Chen lives. Yellow number 1 is across from it. It's impossible. I visited here last night. I wouldn't have made that mistake," Jiang Yuochen said firmly. Juan Singeling said, "It's hard to say. It was too dark last night. Maybe you remembered the wrong way. There is no possibility." Jiang Yuochen drew back the bronze key and turned around, staring at Juan Singeling. "If it's earth number 1, then there's only one possibility. Someone switched the horizontal inscribed boards and the keys of earth number 1 and yellow number 1 to lure me into earth number 1. Am I right?" Jiang Yuochen stared at Juan Singeling firmly. Juan Singeling had a guilty conscience so that she looked at the ground and asked, "Who is that board?" Jiang Yuochen said, "No one inside Western Campus dares to break into Dragon Marshal Temple, and outsiders never dare to come in. There are only 3 devils that live in Dragon Marshal Temple, Luo Shuaihan, Huang Yanjun, and Juan Singeling. Surely, Huang Yanjun wouldn't have done such a thing. Then, only you and Luo Shuaihan are left. We could easily find out the truth by asking Luo Shuaihan." "No need to do that. It's me." Juan Singeling finally admitted it. She forced a smile. "Truth be told, I just wanted to make a joke with you. I didn't expect it to go wild last night." Jiang Yuochen sighed. "I thought you were acting strangely when I met you this morning. It really is you. Why did you do such thing? Do you know you nearly got me and Huang Yanjun killed last night?" The truth was out there. Juan Singeling felt a little guilty. She put on a pitiable look and said, "I've told you that I just wanted to make a joke. Who could foresee that you would peep at Sister Chen bathing? What's more, you took a huge advantage. By the way, what happened between you two last night?" "She was crying when I visited her. I never saw her cry before." Jiang Yuochen felt a little guilty. After all, he misunderstood Huang Yanjun and injured her badly last night. To be honest, Huang Yanjun was the one most wronged. Jiang Yuochen said, "A warrior of Division Profound is still known as the devil." "She would cry?" Jiang Yuochen asked. Juan Singeling nodded. She was crying very badly. Did you do some unspeakable things after you injured her? Did she say so? Zhang Yuochen asked. Of course not. Juan Muxingling continued. I asked her, but she didn't tell me. That's why I am asking you. After all, Zhang Yuochen had seen Huang Yanjin naked, and injured her seriously last night. He thought for a while and said, it's my fault. Did you really do unspeakable things to her? Juan Muxingling gaped, looking surprised. Maybe. Zhang Yuochen nodded slightly. In fact, Zhang Yuochen was an innocent boy, so he didn't really understand the true meaning of unspeakable things. In his last lifetime, he had always focused on martial arts and seldom had time to develop romantic relationships. Even when he was with Princess Kaiyao, they had only held hands. Due to that, he knew even less about romantic relationships than Duan Muxingling. Zhang Yuochen said, I should explain it to her face to face. No. Duan Muxingling blocked Zhang Yuochen again and said, if Sister Chen knows that she fell into that situation because of me, she would definitely hate my guts. Zhang Yuochen stared at Duan Muxingling, saying, doesn't that mean that I will take the blame for you? Duan Muxingling thought for a while and then said, what's more, there is no use in explaining it to her. She will kill you the moment she sets eyes on you. With just a move of her finger, you will be a dead man before you can explain. How about a deal? You hide the truth about last night from her for me, and in return, I will persuade her to spare your life. What do you say? Does she have to kill me? Zhang Yuochen asked. Juan Muxingling nodded, saying, you should blame yourself. If you did such a thing to me, I'd definitely tear you to shreds, too. But if I put in a good word for you, maybe she will let it go. Will she let it go so easily? Zhang Yuochen asked. Juan Muxingling laughed. Although the students call her the devil and iceberg beauty, I know that she's always fond of the top geniuses, and she made an oath to marry the greatest man in the world. For example, she thinks highly of Zhang Tangai, the top genius of the 36 commanderies of Omen Ridge, and mentions him frequently. Although you are not as talented as Zhang Tangai, you will have great achievements in the future if you work hard. Maybe Sister Chen will have an interest in you, then you can stay alive and marry a beauty at the same time. What a lucky guy. After all, you have done that thing already. The seventh prince, Zhang Tangai. Zhang Yuochen said. Juan Muxingling's eyes lit up. Right. How could I forget that the seventh prince of Yunwu Commandery is your seventh brother? Is he the top genius of the 36 commanderies of Omen Ridge? Asked Zhang Yuochen. Juan Muxingling said with rare admiration, Zhang Tangai is much more powerful than you. He achieved the third rank of the Profound Board when he was 16 years old, and has become an example to all the youth of this generation. He broke through to the Earth realm and became the internal disciple of Yantai Suzerain with the best score when he was 17 years old. Now, he is 20 years old and no one knows how high his cultivation will go. There has not been such a talented prodigy like him in a century. Zhang Yuochen, you didn't achieve the mid-stage of the Black Realm until you were 16 years old. You are far away from your seventh brother. Zhang Yuochen said mildly, I will surpass him someday. That's the spirit. If you have the desire to advance, you will definitely become a warrior of Division Profound after 3 to 5 years of practice with your talent. Sister Chen will have a completely new appraisal of you when you become a warrior of Division Profound. Juan Muxingling smiled with her mouth closed. Then, we have a deal. Zhang Yuochen thought for a while and said, okay. That's settled for now. I'm going to take my fourth brother to Yellow Number 1 to heal his wounds. Are you okay with that now? Okay, of course. Juan Muxingling smiled. Zhang Yuochen carried Zhang Shaxiu to Yellow Number 1 on his back and put him on the bed. Then he applied the muscles and bones regenerating ointment to his arms. A warrior's physical quality was much better than that of ordinary people. Although Zhang Shaxiu's arm bones were broken, with the help of the muscles and bones regenerating ointment, his bones would fully recover in half a month. Zhang Tangai. Zhang Yuochen said the three characters. and then shook his head. The most important thing for him now was preparing for the fight in 1 month against Feng Xilin at the Life and Death platform. Feng Xilin's cultivation was at the final state of the Black Realm. Only if Zhang Yuochen upgraded his cultivation to the advanced stage of the Black Realm would he have the chance to beat Feng Xilin. Maybe other warriors couldn't break through to the advanced stage of the Black Realm in just 1 month, but Zhang Yuochen definitely could do it, because he had the time and space spinal. If one practiced inside the time and space spinal for 3 months, only 1 month's time would pass. That meant Zhang Yuochen had 3 months to practice. With my massive amount of practicing resources, it won't be difficult for me to achieve the advanced stage of the Black Realm in 3 months. My biggest weakness now is my martial technique. If I can successfully practice the 4th movement of the Dragon and Elephant Prajnapam or the whole set of the Sacred Sword skill, it will be a piece of cake to beat Feng Xilin. With that thought, Zhang Yuochen entered the internal space of the time and space spinal to begin his practice.